that believes, people in New Age don't believe that Jesus is God. And so, for the most part, there's a whole nother section of New Age that believes in different versions of Jesus that are not Jesus, not the real Jesus, the biblical Jesus. And so I told a friend I met Jesus, and she was like, oh yeah, it just kind of fell flat everywhere. I tried to get some feedback on what had happened to me. No one could understand it or really cared. And so after a while, I just stopped talking about it, but I was hungry for Jesus. All I knew is I love Jesus and I need more of him. I want to know more about him. So I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone to tell me to read the Bible at that time. So I started to search for Jesus in the worst place ever, which is on Google. And being a New Ager, my algorithm was just set to give me back more of the same demonic junk that I had been consuming for the last 10 years. And so I Googled Jesus Christ and I got back Christ consciousness. So I started to read about Christ consciousness, believing that I was finding out more about Christ, and very quickly became hypnotized by that spirit. And I started to just go down this rabbit hole of Christ consciousness. I started buying all these books. I started to just consume this demonic doctrine of Christ consciousness. So just really briefly, Christ consciousness is nothing to do with the biblical Christ. If you ever come across it as a Christian, run the other way. It's just another demonic doctrine that destroys the deity of Christ. So they don't believe, Christ consciousness doesn't believe that Jesus is a man or a God or a personal being, but rather a frequency or a consciousness that you can tap into. So anyone can become Christ by that definition, by simply entering into the frequency of Christ. So it's extremely heretical and completely false, but I became hypnotized by it. I was really drawn to it because it's just New Age with Jesus slapped on it, and I was a New Ager, so I didn't have to change anything about my life or repent. I could just incorporate this New Age fake Jesus into my life and my New Age routine as it already was. Then I became extremely interested in this idea of Sophia Christ. So somehow that came up in my research, and I bought this book called The Sophia Code. Now, the Sophia Code is literally a demonic book of spells, incantations that you're supposed to read out loud as invitations to the spirit realm. So I got this book and I opened it and I started reading these incantations out loud to Sophia Christ. So Sophia Christ is a demon who calls herself Sophia Christ. She claims to be a feminine embodiment of Christ, or the Christ consciousness, but she also claims to be the ultimate creator, who created the creator. There's different versions of her, but the Gnostic version is that she's like the giver of life, the one who birthed creation. So I'm opening this book and reading these spells out loud, and I instantly get possessed by Sophia Christ. That demon just went straight from the book. The spirit behind that book went straight into me. And I become obsessed with Sophia Christ, and I become obsessed with Christ consciousness. Because I'm reading everything there is about it, I start teaching it. I start building courses, teaching the Gnostic creation story and the Gnostic worldview. I start channeling by the power of this Sophia Christ demon. So she gave me a lot of power in the spirit. She really opened what I would have called my third eye, which was really just my spiritual perception, so that I could see even deeper in the spirit. She gave me power. She gave me a light language, which is demonic tongues. So I'm still wanting and seeking God, but I'm demon possessed. So then I started to I encountered another demon through another book, actually, that I read called Mary Magdalene Revealed, and I started to become really fascinated with the rose lineage of the goddess and the priestess in the land where I was living. I forgot to say that I had moved back to the south of France at this point, and that land awareness of what I'm doing, because I'm being run by Sophia Christ, this huge demon. So now I have this Mary Magdalene demon and Sophia Christ working together in me, through me. And Sophia Christ, the head demon, starts saying to me, build me a temple. Build me a temple. I keep hearing that all the time. Build me a temple, build me a temple, build me a temple. I'm like, okay, she wants me to build her a temple, okay. And she started giving me these downloads of the temple she wanted me to build, with the proportions, the colors, the dimensions, everything, how everything had to be on the altar. So I used all of my money that I had from my New Age business to start to prepare my house, and I was going to make the top floor of my house into this temple for Sophia Christ. And everything's gearing towards me doing this. Meanwhile, I'm also believing and teaching courses that we're about to go through a portal in 2021, and we're going to be birthing new earth, and everyone's going to die to themselves and be reborn. I shaved my head. I was really losing it. I was becoming, when I say I was demon possessed, I can't really explain it any better than that. I was not in control of myself. Anything she told me to do, I had to do. So she told me to shave my head. I shaved my head, like, to the bone. I'm teaching these courses that we're about to go through this portal and get reborn. I'm combining the rosary, doing the rosary, like these Catholic elements, with my New Age tantric yoga and Hindu practices in my courses. So again, like, I'm doing, and I'm going deeper and deeper into darkness, but I have no idea how to get out. I'm building the temple, investing all my money in it. Then she says to me, now brand yourself to me. And she told me she wanted me to have 3 tattoos. She told me the position and what I had to have. So here I was to have a big serpent all the way down my arm. Here I was to have the Egyptian Ankh, which is a symbol in ancient Egyptian literature for the serpent or the goddess. So the goddess and the snake have always been connected in mysticism and Gnostic tradition, because Gnosticism believes that the serpent is actually wisdom, by bringing them wisdom. So these, again, snake, and then here I was to have a illuminati triangle with an evil eye in it. I didn't know any of these symbols meant anything at the time, and I wasn't aware that they were the most demonic symbols that you could have, and that all of them actually represent the snake. So it was really a way of this demon asking me to brand myself to Satan, and to make it really clear with these ritualistic tattoos I was to have that I belong to the devil. Again, I had no awareness of this at the time. So I book in my tattoo. I schedule it with my tattoo artist. It's all good to go. I'm about to open the temple that I've been building. Everything's been gearing for months towards this. I'm